Did you know that 90% of your skin aging is caused by UV rays, aka sunlight? So when you actually look into it, it is shocking the damage that the sun can do to your skin. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, where have you been? My name is Emily and I am a medical student. So I thought I would sit down and talk about the damage that the sun can do to your skin, how you can protect your skin every single day and incorporate skin protection into your skincare routine. So talking about SPF, things like that. And then at the end, recommend some products as well that I personally have used, incorporate into my makeup routine I am wearing now and protects my skin all day long. If you would like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a big thumbs up. If you don't follow my Instagram, go follow me on there, because I have recently decided to start doing a little Medical Monday series. Every Monday I'm just going to hop on there on Instagram live or put up a little post talking about something medical, just like sprinkling it into the week. So with all that being said, let's just get into the video. So I thought I would start by convincing you why taking the time to watch this video and learn about why you need to protect your skin in the sun is important. So I'm going to put a little picture up here. This is a man who was a truck driver and he drove truck for 30 years of his life, and as you can see, one side of his face is massively aged compared to the other, and this was the side that was facing the window and was getting sun rays through the window, and you can see how much more his face is aged on the side that was facing the sun while he was driving. And he wasn't using any skin protection. So this shows us how much the sun can cause aging of our skin. So if we think historically, if we think back to the 1800s, having a really pale skin was quite attractive. So I would have, had the ideal skin type back then, born in the wrong era. But back in the 1800s, it was seen to show a sign of class and that you were well off if you had pale skin, because you were staying inside and you weren't outside doing manual labor. But obviously in recent years, now in our modern society, having tan skin is being seen as healthy. Like in the media, people seem to portray being tanned as healthy, like everybody seems to want to be tanned, and I think that can be really damaging actually, because obviously you are always desperate to get a tan. And when I was younger, when I was going on holiday, I would go out and not put any sun cream on because I was desperate for a tan. When I didn't really understand my skin type, there are certain skin types that can't tan. So I'm going to put a little diagram up here. This is the Fitzpatrick scale. Now this is the scale that splits skin types into 6 basic skin types. Now obviously there are probably a lot of subtypes, you can't classify skin shades into these 6, but for the sake of the amount of melanin in your skin, this is the scale that we commonly use in dermatology. Melanin is essentially the chemical in your skin that turns us brown and makes us look more tan. So it's just a pigment that comes out when we've been in the sun and makes us tan, and different people have different amounts of melanin in our skin. So if you're a type 1 skin type, which would be what I am, very very pale, freckly, and type 6 would be darker skin tones, and the further up the scale you are, the more melanin you have in your skin, the more protected you are against UV radiation and sunlight, and these individuals further up the scale are more likely to tan than they are to burn, whereas individuals like me who are a type 1 or a type 2 skin type are very very likely to burn. We don't have a lot of melanin in our skin, we're very very sensitive to UV radiation, and it's really really important that we are using skin protection, especially on our face, our décolletage and the back of our hands, because these are the areas that age first. So the further down the scale we go, the higher the risk of skin cancer. I never understood this when I was younger. I used to think that if I just sat out in the sun long enough I would tan, and I never did. I always burn, and individuals who are type 1 skin type may never tan, they may just burn. So it's really important to have a think about where you are on this scale. I will leave a link down below. Think of what skin type you're most likely to be and how UV sensitive or UV resistant you are, and therefore how pertinent it is that you're looking after your skin. But regardless of what skin type you have on the scale, I would still highly recommend using skin protection and sunblock when you're in the sun. So next I thought we'd talk about the 2 types of sun ray that there are and how these damage your skin and what different protections you can be using against these 2 sun rays. So sun damage can either cause medical changes like skin cancer, or it can cause cosmetic changes like not just wrinkles, pigmentation, so darkened patches of skin or lightened patches of skin, and thickening of your skin. And if we think back to that picture I showed you at the start of the video with the man with really thickened skin, that is all a product of sun damage to the skin. So the two types of sun ray, there is UVA, and this is the #1 cause of skin aging, and UVA rays are what cause wrinkles, thickening and pigmentation of the skin. And this ray does so by essentially, the more exposure you have to UVA radiation damages the elastic fibers in your skin, which keep our skin taut and youthful. And there has been studies which have shown that the number of wrinkles you have are directly related to the hours you spend in the sun. And when we're using sunblock or sun cream, the star rating is what actually correlates to how protective the sun cream is against UVA radiation. So I always thought it was really important to think about SPF. Before studying this, I'd never actually heard of a star rating, but when you're picking up sunscreen, it's really important to look for a sun cream that has a high SPF and a high star rating. So I would suggest always going for a sun cream that has a star rating of 4 or more. 5 is the highest star rating, and it directly correlates, like the higher the stars, the more protective the sun cream is against UVA rays, the more you are protecting your skin against aging. UVA radiation can penetrate through windows. So the man I mentioned at the beginning, you may have wondered why, if he was sat inside in a truck all day, his skin aged, and UVA can penetrate through windows. So you know, if it's a really roasting day and you're sat in an office, you're sat next to a window, UVA can still penetrate and cause aging of your skin. UVB not so much, but UVA. So that is why I am really stressing to you, you need to start using UV protection in your skincare routine. And the second type of sun ray is UVB, and this is related to skin cancer, which we aren't going to delve too much into this video. It's really important to be using a sun cream with a high SPF, ideally above factor 30, but factor 50 is really ideal in terms of preventing skin cancer. And obviously these changes like aging and skin cancer aren't going to be like imminent after you've been in the sun. They may come on years and decades later. So just delving into that a little bit deeper, an SPF 30, for example, would equate to you receiving 1 minute of unprotected UVB radiation for 30 minutes in the sun. So for example, if you are in the sun for 1 hour with an SPF of 30 on, at the end of the hour you have had 2 minutes in the sun of totally unprotected UV radiation. When choosing a sun cream, I would encourage you to look for high star rating or a high SPF, or they might be labelled as broad spectrum, which means that they cover both. So next I'm going to talk a little bit about a product that I have recently been trying out and have really loved. So over the months of lockdown, it's obviously been a bit sunnier because it's the summer months here in the UK, and I decided that I was going to start using some UVA and UVB protection in my daily skincare routine. So either in the morning just popping it on if I wasn't wearing any makeup, or popping some under my makeup. So initially I just started putting on sun cream. Honestly, it does not work with makeup. It really does not. And obviously some foundations do have an SPF in it. UVA protection is involved with wrinkles, so I really wanted to try out a product that targeted both UVA and UVB. My favourite that I'm going to recommend that you guys invest in is this Glossier Invisible Shield. This is an SPF 30 and it has both UVA and UVB protection. It doesn't, however, say the star rating for the UVA, but it is the best one that I've tried. It goes on just like a primer. It's translucent, and as you can see, it's almost just like water. And you can use your regular primer with it. I often pop this under my primer, and I love this because my makeup just sits on flawlessly on top. It's literally like having nothing on my skin, and I really like putting this on in the morning regardless of if I'm wearing makeup, and then I know my face is protected. And obviously you've got the bonus of if you're adding makeup that has an SPF in on top, you are doubly protecting your skin because you can add the SPF up. So if I had an SPF 30 in this Glossier product and then I put a foundation on with SPF 20, then I'd have added up to an SPF 50. The only downside of it is it's quite small, and it's £20 for 30 millilitres. But I've had this for a couple of months and you don't really need a lot. A little bit does go a long way. I will leave the link down below if you guys want to go check that out. So I'm just going to go into now a little bit more about, other than using products, what you can do to protect your skin from the sun. I think it's really important to think about what type of skin type you have, as I mentioned earlier, and also what kind of lifestyle you lead. So if you're someone who's working outside a lot, or you spend a lot of time outside, you might be getting a lot of UV radiation that you hadn't really thought about. So in other ways that you protect your skin, the first thing I would say is using a lip balm with an SPF in. That's something that you don't really think about, but your lips can burn as well. Also, like I said, UV radiation can not only go through windows and clouds, but it can also reflect off surfaces. So you know, when you're skiing, if you've ever been on a ski holiday and you get burned even though you're in the snow, and it's because the sun reflects off the white surfaces of the snow. I am sure your parents always used to harp on upon at you when you were younger to wear a hat and sit in the shade in the sun, but obviously it goes without saying that's a really good way to protect your face, as well as using UV protection, because if you have a hat with a brim on it, it's causing shade on your face. And if you are particularly bothered about preventing aging, that keeps your face protected even if the rest of your body is sat directly in sunlight. And this is something I never thought of doing before. You can actually check the UV index levels. So obviously here in the UK, in the winter months, we aren't getting a lot of UV light. So in the winter months, I'm not obviously using this product every single day because it's pretty much dark and miserable most of the time. But I am trying to incorporate this into my skincare routine in the spring and the summer months. I think it's just a really good habit to get into doing it every single day. But you can check out the UV index levels, which tells you the amount of UV radiation in your area where you're living. And if you're somewhere that's like always really hot or not sure whether you want to start using a UV product in your daily routine, it might be worth just checking that out, and then you can see when it might be most appropriate for you to use it. You should be reapplying sun protection every 2 hours and after you go in water, regardless of if the sun cream says that it's waterproof or not, because you might like rub some off when you're drying with a towel, or some might just come off from water or sweat. So you should be reapplying every 2 hours. Obviously, it goes without saying, the thinner you pop on the sun cream, the thinner the effect will be. So I like to put a good dollop of this on my face, and when I'm putting sun cream on the rest of my body, I really like to lather it on. Seems pretty obvious, but don't use tanning beds. And I also just want to mention at this point, when looking at sun creams, I always like to choose one which is labelled as coral safe, just because one of the chemicals in sun cream can be known to damage coral. So like if I'm on holiday and I'm going to be going in the sea, I like to choose a sun cream that has that in, just because I feel like I'm doing my little bit towards the environment. Now, I feel like this could come across as a very negative video and have you all freaking out about your skin and sun damage, especially if you're in the same situation as me, where when I was on holiday when I was younger, I was like desperate to get tan, just like horrendously burned because I didn't put on any sun cream. But if I can give you one take-home message from this, it's not too late to start looking after your skin. So that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much if you've watched this to the end, and I really hope you take on board some of the advice. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to pop them down below and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye and stay safe.